This is Bloomberg Business of Sports.
The cold, hard truth about the Olympic journey is not really been financially incentivized in the same way that many other professional sports are.
The business of basketball involves CBA, Global, our licensing arm, Think 450. All of those things will make up what that looks like.
Money in sports. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy being on Monday Night Countdown and talk about some of the more interesting aspects of business of sports.
When you're talking sports, discipline is the bridge from being good to ultimately being great at whatever it is that you're trying to be or accomplish at your profession.
Bloomberg Business of Sports from Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Bloomberg Business of Sports show where we explore the big money issues in the world of sports. I'm Michael Barr.
I'm Scarlet Fu.
And I'm Mike Lynch.
Coming up today, somebody's got that green jacket, a brand new one. Congratulations, Scotty Scheffler, who beat runner-up Rory McIlroy by 3 strokes. Let's put it this way. Scheffler didn't lose it. Rory McIlroy, he tied a record round, Scar, and he was on the pace to, if anything happened to Scheffler, Rory could have won it.
Yeah, he had an incredibly strong finish. I normally don't follow golf at all, but of course, Tiger Woods' return to the Masters was all anyone was talking about, at least initially, right? I mean, on Thursday, he had an incredible round, finished 1 under par, and people were all excited. I read that the ratings on ESPN, the Thursday coverage, was up 31% from last year at this time.
Yeah, it was 21% on Thursday, 31% on Friday.
Oh, okay, that's
the most watched golf event ever in the history of ESPN. I was riveted to it. He was on the practice green and he was putting, and then when he got a standing ovation from a crowd, which was 12 deep as he walked to the first tee, and every move he made was chronicled. I mean, this was turning back the clock to like when Babe Ruth came to town, when Muhammad Ali visited countries around the world. You could see adults standing on their tiptoes, children on their shoulders, necks craning everywhere. It was almost like when man landed on the moon in 1969, everyone was standing on sidewalks looking in department stores, televisions in the windows, just trying to get a glimpse of Tiger Woods. It really was something fascinating.
This is why people talk about Tiger Woods. This is why the media talks about Tiger Woods, because the ratings are sky high, Scar.
Yeah, I mean, it brings in the uninterested viewer, the peripheral viewer like me. I don't care about golf unless Tiger Woods is in it. At first, it was because he was this child prodigy. Then it was because he was like a superhero that couldn't do anything wrong. Then it was because he was a train wreck. And now I'm fully invested in his redemption story. So, you know, when he's back on the golf course, I pay attention. I'm curious about what's going to happen. And after a while, when he didn't do that well, he finished not the way he started. It becomes a little less interesting. And I'm sorry for that, but he makes the game interesting.
He does, and he was smiling. He was acknowledging the crowd when he's in contention. I mean, he's in a zone. I mean, and that's, you know, if you're playing at a public golf course or in the Masters, when you're in the zone, you don't talk and look at anybody else. But he tipped his cap when he walked up to the 16th green, and then walk up 18. Which is usually reserved for the champion coming up to the 18th green. A thunderous standing ovation. And Tiger took his cap off. He smiled. He waved. He acknowledged everybody. I think he enjoyed it. And this was one of those moments where you don't necessarily have to finish first to be a winner.
Yeah. He was just saying being there was a victory for him. And didn't Scottie Scheffler wear Tiger Woods' sneakers and use his clubs?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah,
he uses his clubs, and his sneakers, yeah.
Tiger Woods made some comments after his final in the Masters. Let's take a listen.
We're excited about the prospects of the future, about training, about getting into that gym and doing some other stuff to get my legs stronger, which we haven't been able to do because it's needed more time to heal. But I think it needs a couple more days to heal after this. But we'll get back after it and we'll get into it.
Tiger Woods will always be Tiger Woods. He will always have that following. Now, he says he might do the Open.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the U.S. Open is up in the air and some other tournaments also. But just for him to get out on the course, what he did 14 months ago, he didn't even know he was going to have a leg. Now he was out there being competitive. In fact, he had a bad third round, obviously. And if he didn't have that bad third round, he could have been competitive out there.
As the weekend went on, his limp became more and more obvious. And it's a very hilly course down at Augusta. It's very deceptive on television. And anybody who's ever had any type of knee injury or hip injury knows that when you walk downhill, it actually hurts more than you're going uphill because you're putting about 5 times as much pressure on your joints. And it really showed. I mean, when he finished him, he was limping really noticeably going into the clubhouse. It was a return. When he won, Jim Nantz coined the phrase, one for the ages, when he won the first of his 5. Mm-hmm. This was a return for the ages.
Does he have to walk the course for the U.S. Open, for the other tournaments?
Everyone. There are no exceptions at all. You have to walk the course. So the next major is in May at Southern Hills. That's the PGA Championship. The U.S. Open is here at Brookline in Boston, Father's Day weekend, and the Open at St. Andrews is in July. He has committed to that verbally. He's not sure about the other 2, but he will only play in majors between now and July.
So this is just tradition that everyone has to walk the course?
It's a rule.
Yeah. It's a rule?
It's a
but
rule.
why?
It's a test of endurance. It's always
physical
been that
endurance.
Way. Yeah, you have to wear long pants. You can't wear shorts. Mm-hmm. And you have to walk the course because it's in addition to your skill striking the golf ball, you have to be able to endure 4 days, 72 holes of walking up hills, walking into woods, walking across bridges, and it's a level playing field. They can't have half the people driving a cart and half the people walking.
Let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. New York governor, Buffalo native, Kathy Hochul.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Oh, yeah. And this, for people who don't know, they got $850 million in public subsidies for the new Buffalo Bills Stadium, and it's something that the governor has pushed for. And this isn't a kumbaya moment, because some people are not happy calling it a giveaway of taxpayer dollars, Scar.
Yeah, $850 million is the most in U.S. history for a single stadium. And as usual, the billionaire owners of the Bills had threatened to move the team unless they got enough public funding for this new arena. Hochul, as you mentioned, Mike, is from the Buffalo region. And interestingly, and of course, I saw this in the tabloids, her husband is senior vice president and senior counsel for the company that provides concessions and dining and retail at the Bills' current stadium. Her take on this is that obviously the company that does this has no say whatsoever. The Bills make all the decisions there, but it's not a good look. The optics are not great.
Well, the Bills in the National Football League are going to chip in an additional $550 million. So this is a project that's well over
the minority amount of the money.
Yes, but it's over $1 billion. And ironically, there are 3 National Football League teams out of the state of New York, but only one of them actually plays in the state of New York, and that's the Buffalo Bills. The Jets and the Giants play in New Jersey.
My father-in-law drives that point home often. He's a native New Yorker. Came out of Brooklyn, in the Queens area also, and he said, look, only one team plays. It's the Bills in New York. That's why he loves the Buffalo Bills. and he drives it home all the time, and kudos to him and kudos to the Bills, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of flack that's going down.
A lot of angry
this.
people, a lot of Democrats, a lot of Republicans who are not happy. And for the record, the Bills have never won the Super Bowl, right? I mean, they were dominant in the early 90s. They did go to the Super Bowl, 4 straight times?
Four straight years.
Yeah, they have not come away with a victory.
Wide right.
The Marv Levy era. Yeah, they were there, man. But.
Speaking of the New Jersey area where the Giants and Jets played, Scottie Scheffler, who now lives in Texas and won the Masters, grew up in New Jersey and used to sneak on golf courses over by Ridgewood, New Jersey. He grew up his dad grew up in Englewood, and he'd sneak on golf courses. And then the family moved to Texas, where he went to high school. But his roots are in New Jersey, just in the shadow of MetLife Stadium.
We're New York-centric here, me and Michael Barr, so hometown boy.
And by the way, Scottie Scheffler picked up $2.7 million yesterday, winning the Masters, and a lot of people wonder. But, however, since he played in the state of Georgia, the Georgia IRS grabs $999,000 of that, and the state of Georgia grabs another 5.75%, $155,000. So his take home is about $1.5 million. He loses about $1.2 million to taxes to the state of Georgia and the IRS.
I don't know, Scar. That still sounds like Lynchy money to me.
Plus, there's going to be endorsements and everything else that comes along, right?
Well, you get a lifetime. You can play in the Masters the rest of your life. You get a 5-year. You can play in every golf tournament there is. You get to wear your green jacket outside of the grounds for 1 year. But then after 1 year, you can only wear it while you're on the grounds of Augusta, and it must remain in possession of the club. So
you don't even get to keep it,
no,
really?
No, you got to give it back to them. They put it on a hanger, and next time you're in town, stop on by. You can wear your jacket.
Is that your jacket, or is it someone else's jacket?
No, it's his jacket.
Okay.
It'll be on a hanger with his name on it, with all the other champions in there. And for 1 year, he can walk around, and get down to the malt shop and sit there and put his quarters in the jukebox and
hang out in his green jacket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what happens if it's somebody like me? Because I know me. I'll gain weight, and then I can't fit in the jacket, and then there's mustard stains all on the jacket, and I can't, man, come on,
I'm pretty sure
man.
they'll clean it for you when it's hanging in Augusta.
And one of the traditions you get next, they have a champions dinner. All the former champions that want to and that are still alive obviously come to a Tuesday night for dinner, and you get to pick the menu. So, Michael Barr, you just won the Masters next year, and you're in charge of picking the menu next year. What are we having on Tuesday night before the 2023 Masters?
See, y'all won't like me because I'm a vegetarian, so I was going to say something more like, we're going to have some tofu and some fried rice. Yummy, yummy, yum. Next thing you know, Jack Nicklaus is throwing food at me.
Food fight.
By the way, before we move into the next topic, I do want to say something about the Bills. This agreement that they had for the stadium, it means the team now has agreed to stay in Buffalo for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
So there is a plus to that.
Right, and then we'll have another fight about it again.
Yeah. Then.
But, the stadium's not going to last 30 years. It's going to be how long do teams stay in a new stadium for before they start, hankering for a new one? 15 years, 20 years?
Atlanta, it's like every other week.
Yeah.
Let's see. Giants Stadium opened in '76, and when did MetLife open? Maybe 10 years ago?
Yeah, was it 10? Yeah, around that time.
Yeah.
About 10-something years ago.
Yeah. They're not bolting for a place like Las Vegas. They're going to stay in Buffalo. The Packers are staying in Green Bay. Two small market towns, but where football means an awful lot to the economy until they just the overall mood and spirit. It sort of galvanizes a lot of communities and cities.
Speaking of a community where an NFL team had a good marriage, the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
They're up for sale. And now there's a guy who, the name, Walmart heir Rob Walton is considered the favorite to become the next owner of the Broncos. That's according to several media sources, Scar.
Yeah, he is said to be the front runner, the favorite to become the next owner. He has a net worth of $70.5 billion, so he could easily outbid any of the other known candidates who are interested in buying the team. There's also kind of an interesting family history here because LA Rams owner Stan Kroenke is married to Walton's cousin, Rob Walton's cousin, Ann. It's all in the family, feels like.
Yeah. Clean up on the 30-yard line. And
are they going to get this done before the start of the season?
They're trying to. Yeah. They want to get the team sold before the season begins, hopefully. So we'll see for the Walton family anyway. By the way, before he's talking about $4 billion.
At least.
At least $4 billion. Before that, the Carolina Panthers, they sold for $2.2 billion in 2018. Boy, to double that's a lot of money, folks.
Yeah. And he'll have no problem getting it through. You need 24 other owners to approve it. And all it does is it increases the value of every other franchise around the National
they're happy to
Football
say
League.
yes.
So it might be a slam dunk. It might be 31 to nothing.
Well, the NFL does. I mean, one of the other bidders is Robert Smith. And, of course, the NFL is eager for Robert Smith to buy the Broncos because he's African-American. He'd become the league's first black team owner as well. So that's another possibility as someone who could emerge as stiff competition for Mr. Walton.
Let me ask a question. As we talk about the valuation of the teams, if this team is sold for $4 billion and the other 31 teams, the valuation goes up, the Green Bay Packers are unique because the public has stock in the Green Bay Packers. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if you have stock in the Packers, do you want this sale to go through?
Well, the stock is actually worthless to the owner. It's just more it's ceremonial more than anything else. However, they can block the move of the Packers to another city. But in terms of financial gain and return, the net is zero for the people that are shareholders.
I always wonder that, though. It's got to be ceremonial because all of a sudden here comes Joe Blow and he's got a six-pack coming into the stockholders meeting. It's like, yeah, and get rid of Aaron Rodgers. I can see this.
I can't get the image of Michael Barr with a green jacket on, and we're eating tofu next
with mustard on it.
With mustard on it. Oh, come on, Scarlet.
Man, I had that a couple of nights ago. I had the tofu, and I had the broccoli, and I had the duck sauce, and I had the rice, and I put it all together, and I tore it up. And then my wife was mad at me because I didn't leave her some of the stuff. And anyway. Come on by, folks. This is the Bloomberg Business of Sports podcast. I'm Michael Barr, along with Scarlet and Mike Lynch. Catch us here each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, exploring the world, money, and sports. Catch me on Twitter at Big Bar Sports.
I'm on Twitter at Scarlet Fu.
And I really have never eaten tofu and not sure, but I will in honor of Michael Barr next year at the Champions Dinner. I'm Lynchy at WCVB.
So you got to fry it up. That's the key
Yes,
to the whole thing.
yes. Or you could bake it and put chili crisp on it, too.
Oh!
That's another good one.
Oh, I got to try that.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're listening to Bloomberg Business of Sports. Smack boom on Bloomberg Radio around the world.